This is Mike from Movie Clips News, and I was calling to find out if the rumor's true that JJ's actually directing the new Star Wars movie.
1 second. JJ Abrams office.
Hi, this is Mike from Movie Clips News, and I was calling to find out if the rumor was true that JJ Abrams was directing the new Star Wars movie.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it. Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Guys, breaking news. Star Wars Episode VII has a director.
Guess what? It's the one we all hoped it would be.
And it's also the one that has directed two of probably the best space films ever, Star Trek.
Well, we don't know about Into Darkness, but we're assuming based on what we've seen.
I'm speculating that
Mr.
it's going to be the
JJ
greatest.
Abrams is going to be directing Star Wars Episode VII.
Huge news. Now, when the news broke that Star Wars Episode VII was being made, the first name people started saying was JJ Abrams. Now,
JJ Abrams and Brad Bird.
Brad Bird. The first one was JJ Abrams, and people were like, well, but he made Star Trek.
Yeah,
no way.
Brad Bird.
That was like an immediate brush off. It's like, oh, JJ Abrams, yeah, but he's doing Star
But
Trek.
obviously not. Brad Bird is going to direct. I really thought he was going to be the pick.
But he's
We've gone
doing that
through-
19
It's been a whirlwind
whatever.
of a few months because we went through JJ Abrams rumors, Brad Bird rumors, Andrew Stanton rumors, into David Fincher, who it looked like it may actually happen, and now JJ has usurped them all.
Funny enough, though, all of those filmmakers still potential possibility. With
It's true,
episode
we got
8,
two
episode
more.
9.
Yeah.
And
After this.
all of those, whatever, Zack Snyder's going to do his Seven Samurai bullshit.
But initial reactions, Andrew, when you dropped the bomb on me, I thought somebody had died. You shrieked so
let's
loudly.
recreate that. Let's recreate
You-
that. All right, we're going
I
to
was out
reenact
of the
that.
office,
This
so I'm
is
excited.
a History Channel reenactment. Holy shit!
Who died?
JJ Abrams is directing the Episode 7! What?
So let's just get out some
right.
initial reactions and possible what this means for the movie. First and foremost, music in Star Wars is like another character. So JJ has worked with Michael Giacchino, I think almost exclusively,
Yeah.
Yes.
up until this point.
Yeah.
So does that mean that we can assume Giacchino will be scoring
And
Star
as you
Wars?
pointed out-
I think it does.
As you pointed out, he also did Star Tours.
Yeah, he did do Star Tours when they revamped it.
Yeah.
He also has a really good relationship with Disney. He's done a lot of Pixar stuff.
And I wonder if it's going to be something
He's
along
also
the
Brad
lines
Bird's
of
composer.
along the lines of what they did with Harry Potter, where John Williams got
Yeah.
all the themes
Yeah.
and cues,
Yeah.
and then it was taken over later on by
Yeah,
other,
I think
other
that Giacchino
composers.
will probably be coming through this. If for nothing else, then they want to establish that there's new blood.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like,
think you're right, because
I think
technically John Williams could do this, but he's 81, and they're already, they're revamping the franchise. They might as well get a new slate of crew the entire way, and, John Williams is amazing. We all know that.
We can also, one thing you brought up, practical effects. JJ Abrams, huge fan of the do-it-yourself practical effects.
And he's also...
everything in camera.
Yeah, he's also better with special effects. He's
also,
better.
hopefully, I mean, J.J. Abrams is of the Star Wars generation. He always, with every movie he's made, almost everything that he's done, he brings that sense of, wonder to everything.
Yeah.
So he may bring that back to Star Wars, which is something that people feel has been missing from Star Wars.
I mean, Star Trek was the best Star Wars film since Return of the Jedi. I mean, it was just... But everybody said that. That was the thing that everybody said, oh, Star Trek, it was such a great Star Wars film. And even J.J. Abrams, when he talks about Star Trek and his relationship with Star Trek, he was like, I was approached by Paramount to do it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I didn't really know much about Star Trek. He kind of, brought his love of Star Wars and that space opera stuff and fused that sensibility into Star Trek. But now, this brings up so many questions
I think we can also, right away...
And the looks.
Yeah, I mean, the tone and look... We don't know if he's going to go lens flare,
I think that
interesting
J.J.
camera
Abrams is a smart enough storyteller and a smart enough filmmaker that he'll know that he needs to make this way different from Star Trek for it to pass. I don't think he's just going to make Star Trek the Star Wars universe.
I don't know, though, because,
the sensibility is so on. Seriously, the sensibility of the first 9 minutes we've seen of Into Darkness, the sensibility of the first Star Trek movie is almost perfect for Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
If it was
it is.
And I think you're right. A part of me is if he basically just did replace phasers with lightsabers, it would be a great Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But is that because that would be a criticized?
It's very hard. It's very hard to do that.
I do think
though
that his Star Trek and Star Wars as a universe, we're talking about the original trilogy, have different enough worlds that it'll seem different. Star Trek does borrow a lot of the tone from the original Star Wars movies, but it never struck me as a Star Wars movie because Star Wars is a big epic fantasy movie. And to me, Star Trek, as big as the movies are and as wonderful as those movies are, or assumedly the second movie will be, I think that it takes place in a very human world. Though there are aliens, it's kind of established like, oh, we explored this, we did this. Star Wars takes place in a universe that has been established for seemingly thousands of years.
That's true. But also,
it's not our future. In fact, it's not the future.
But I think that
mythology.
he's really good at bringing all those little bits and pieces of the worlds together. Like if you look at in Star Trek, there's just shots of cast or crew members that are like different races.
Aliens,
brings all these sorts of he just pulls little bits and pieces. From
and I'm
all
excited to see him take that into the Star Wars.
And I think
universe.
it's a lot. I think it's done in a lot more of a sensible way than like traveling to a whole other planet just so you can see this different.
Yeah,
race
that's
of
true.
people.
That's true. But the sensibility, like the overarching like scope of the mythology, to me, Star Trek has always been very scientific, very calculated, and the progressive.
It's science
human
fiction
nature.
as opposed to fantasy, which
exactly.
is what Star Wars
That's
is.
exactly the thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, JJ Abrams' Star Trek felt a little more fantasy in a way because it's dealing with fate and it's dealing with like we were meant to be together. That's playing into Star Wars kind of mythology.
Yes,
into legend stuff.
Star Wars. I'm interested to see what they do with Star Wars because Star Wars as a story was always very archetypal.
Yeah.
And I'm curious
Joseph
to see
Campbell.
if they could still get away with that in this day and age. Obviously, the Star Wars films hold up. The original trilogy holds up, and they have kind of created their own archetypes. But I'm curious to see if JJ brings that into it, or if he brings this really like, human, individualized kind of experience to it, which is what he did. He does really well, which is exciting.
The big thing with me is that like if he basically did Star Trek with Star Wars iconic kind of characters and planets and
I still think it'd be good.
It would still be great.
It would still be amazing.
It would be very different.
Is,
The problem I think I know what you're gonna say is that there's 6 films that have such a distinct style and pace.
Well, there are 3
like
films that have
action.
this distinct style.
But you know what I mean?
3
Like,
films that have a different.
No, but it's very. They do share a very similar kind of narrative style.
I
where
never
it's
felt
like,
that the prequel trilogy was of a different world.
So
I'm agreeing.
Yeah,
with
it's like you have these talking sections and you have the action sections. The talking sections
and then the cross cutting at the end.
And wipes.
Yeah,
lots of wipes. I mean,
I guess that's the most obvious way that he'll bring
think that
the wipes.
I think that by the end of the prequel trilogy, that style started to feel exceptionally dated. And I think that he has to break that mold without question. I think he will do that because, I mean, they're revamping the series. They have a new director. They're going to have new talent in this. They're going to have to give it a fresh coat of paint. And I think you're right. Is by mixing up the camera work. No static shots and zooms and wipes and that kind of stuff. Make it feel fresh and also respectful of its origins.
Yeah.
But the big thing for me that is really interesting is the what him directing, JJ Abrams directing, implies in terms of cast. Because he also, not just with Giacchino doing music, he brings along usually a lot of characters and actors that do cameos.
Where's Greg Grunberg going to be?
And Simon Pegg is we all know he's a huge Star Wars junkie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look at the movies that he's done. You run into and his television career obviously is huge as well. He brings a lot of the television actors from his shows into the movies.
If you watch Felicity, you will see so many faces that from JJ Abrams films that you thought were just kind of bit parts.
Right.
And I'm sure that he will be bringing those people with him.
What I'm worried about is, we could very easily imagine what his Star Wars film would be like. But it might not necessarily be the way it is because we have this perfect template for Star Trek. What I'm afraid is that when the movie comes out, I'm afraid that critics might... this is just like a stupid fear, but I'm afraid that it might be like, it's Star Trek just with Star Wars names. Essentially
they said with Star Trek, it's Star Wars, but with Star Trek names.
Exactly. And now
That's
But it's a
fine.
weird,
Again,
like,
yeah, I know, because this was something we talked about
influence
right
over
after
influence,
it
yeah.
happened. For years, decades, Star Trek fans, Star Wars fans were very, up in arms against
This
each
is
other.
going to be the unifying
I know, it's like,
moment.
this is like balance of the force. It's crazy.
JJ
It's
Abrams
like,
will be the one.
you have the guy responsible for both these movies. He's doing both. It's like Deep Impact and Armageddon being directed by the same person.
Yeah, except like
Except
good
good movies, though,
yeah.
right? Yeah. I mean, it's like you have these two. Okay. Jess, really?
This is like if they announced that he was directing parts 4, 5, and 6 of The Hobbit, it would be the ultimate unification of the Geek Nation.
But that brings up a good point, because this really is the least safe Star Wars director in the history of the franchise. Like, I mean, it's the safest. I mean, not the least safe. It's the safest Star Wars.
We'll see, but the
'Cause,
the
like,
possibility of those criticisms makes it almost brave. You know what I mean?
In a meta way, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm just
in a
saying.
very
Well,
meta
I
way.
think it's great, but like they're not really taking a risk with.
I think they're not. I think they're not willing. I think they're not taking risks. I think
You know
they're
where
not
I think
willing
they
to
should take
risk
risks?
the reputation of
the
the
episodes.
franchise on some unknown talent.
You know where
and
they
bring
should
in
take
someone
risks,
new.
I think. Kathleen Kennedy, are you listening? I don't think they should take risks with the canon. I think they should take risks with
With
these
those
side
spin-offs,
projects that
yeah.
they're going to do. Zack Snyder, a filmmaker I'm not a huge fan of, but when I heard he was going to do a Seven Samurai of Jedi, which we found out later was just a rumor that wasn't quite true, that sounds really exciting to me, of people doing things like that
Yeah.
with the Star Wars universe, and like giving the safety not guaranteed guy a Star Wars movie that's
Yeah.
small. Like, I think that's really exciting, but
That's
with
cool.
the canon movies, with the episodes,
which
think,
are like the Avengers equivalent.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
Marvel world.
Yeah,
Exactly, but in
let somebody
reverse.
else do
Yeah.
like a Ghost Rider Spirit
Yeah.
of Vengeance of the Star
Yeah,
Wars.
or
universe.
let somebody else
like,
do
Exactly,
Thor
that's
Marvel,
2.
like the Marvel Dark Horse, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
Or even like Thor 2, Captain America 2, Iron Man 3.
Right. Bring
Bring Josh Whedon
use
back to
that
do the
as like a
Avengers.
proving ground
Yeah.
for someone to later
Yeah.
do like an episode 12 or 13.
So-
Way down the line.
I don't. They made the move that we were all hoping they would make.
It's crazy.
Literally, I mean, you guys were in the office. We were in the office. We made the video about them announcing that Star Wars was going to be Episode 7, 8, and 9, and the acquisition. And the first thing I said to Jimmy was, "I hope they get JJ."
Yeah.
So
Now, I'm just gonna-
I think the news is 2 months late, but it's exciting.
I'm just going to throw out something for all you conspiracy theorists out there. I think he knew this back in 2009 when he put R2-D2 in the original Star Trek film.
Yeah, it's like Chris Nolan putting a Batman sticker in following.
Look it up.
Whoa.
Because if you look at following.
Now,
But-
I wonder if in one of the fleets or in the... Because, look, here's the thing. The best thing that came out of the prequel trilogy is the opening of Revenge of the Sith. It is
Ooh.
the most
Buddy,
epic...
you ain't kidding.
It's the most epic space
That's the
battle
only good scene in the movie.
ever.
It's the only time in a theater that I've audibly said, "Oh my god."
Yeah, it is like out of control how amazing that opening shot is. And the space battles in Star Trek, they're nothing to
Nothing to cough at.
yeah.
Dude, they're amazing. I think
they're incredible.
I think the space.
Like,
the
but
But
action
the
set
difference
pieces-
is the motion. I'm about to get geeky. The Enterprise can't move as quickly as an X-wing can. So to see that,
But there are some big, there's some big like cruiser type ships. I wonder if he's going to put little Easter eggs from Star Trek into Star Wars.
this is
really
going,
unify it.
This is going to be the unifying moment. Comic-Con is no longer going to be the battleground it once was.
I know. Geeks are going to be like,
You're
Or
going to see,
this
you're gonna see
could-
Klingons and stormtroopers walking arm in arm.
Th-
I
but
know.
this could start an even bigger war. Anyway,
Talk about the.
I think the real victim in this entire thing, Paramount.
Yeah,
Paramount
talk
must
about
be
that.
like really furious.
Oh, he's not
'Cause
coming
he-
back for 3.
Well,
Star Trek
obviously,
3.
he might produce it or something. But can you just? They're going to spend millions of dollars in marketing Into Darkness and doing junkets and everything, and everybody's just going to be asking about Star Wars. Like, this kind of ruined Into Darkness.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's
dude,
gonna hurt the
there's-
box office.
Oh,
at
it's
all.
not gonna hurt the box office,
way
but-
this is ruining Into Darkness at all.
Yeah.
That movie still is going to be amazing. I would.
It's
bet-
No,
amazing.
I would
no
bet
one in the
organs
world,
on that.
no one in the world who is excited to see Into Darkness is now saying, "Well, I'll just wait for episode 7."
Oh, I know. I'm just saying
But-
that, like, the
Now-
win, the excitement for Into Darkness is the win has been taken. out
If
of the
he
sail.
does,
What's gonna
if he
happen?
does do
He's
a
gonna
third
do a
Star
bunch-
Trek movie, they would overlap with
Yeah.
with the
He's
new
gonna
Star
do a
Wars
bunch.
movies.
He's gonna do a bunch of press right now. I'm sure talking about this. When Into Darkness comes out, they'll be talking. The questions will be, "So where are we on the script phase?"
Well, I
And
just,
he'll be saying, you know, Kurtzman and Orsi are written. No, actually, it's Michael
I
Arndt,
just think
which is really cool. That's a great like two sensibilities that'll be really well.
They're
done.
throwing all their weight behind these movies. I mean, it's pretty incredible. On paper, these are like the most awesome movies
All I'm
ever.
saying,
I'm
amped.
I've been to junkets and I've seen stuff where, like, I'm not there at the junket, where you sit down with Heath Ledger, say, Bob Dylan, tell me about the Joker. And it's you know, just them trying to pry out information for 5 minutes.
Can you say, I've seen things, but in your Rutger Hauer face?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it on camera. But, yeah. But I'm just, I don't know. I don't know what I feel. I don't know what I feel.
I feel great. I really feel great. Because I honestly think that when I heard they were doing more Star Wars movies, I was definitely a little trepidatious in terms of my excitement, because it's like, I was excited beyond belief just because, holy shit, there's new Star Wars movies. I love these movies.
Yeah.
I want more material. I want to see more of these stories on the screen. But at the same time, I'm going like, well, what if they are bad? That's like my fear. And now I'm like, I don't see how they can be bad, because I haven't disliked any JJ Abrams movie.
Well, we'll revisit this video in 2015 and see if you were right.
Yeah.
Enough of what we think. What do you think? What do you think, everybody out there?
It's certainly not Chris Nolan doing Batman. It's not. They're not aiming for the bleachers. This is a very safe thing, but that's okay.
Andrew,
and you could be cynical, but it's true.
Okay. Anyway, what do you think out there, internet? Are you excited? I think you are.
I'm very excited.
I'm gonna take a stab. Are you excited? You still upset about how The Dark Knight Rises didn't get any Oscar nominations?
I bet you are about that too.
But I bet this helped. I bet this helped. Yeah. So, comment below. Let us know what you think. We will be commenting back. Until next time.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Andrew.